two ways to solve this. The way that the SAT is asking us to solve it is very matter of fact and very being good with manipulating the formula. If you can do it that way, that's awesome. I'm going to show you what that looks like. But my instinct on a situation like this is, can I create values myself that are going to make sense of this problem? They tell me that the volume is 22 cubic centimeters. And we want to know what happens when we double the radius and then figure out the original height of a cylinder. Well, I was thinking some numbers in my head. What are easy numbers to work with that after you square and all that can get me to 22? Well, really there isn't, but at least I can get easily to 21. And I can see that these answers are far apart enough that I can kind of guesstimate, which doesn't happen a lot on the SAT, but here on the no calculator section is working for us. Well, I'll make pi 3 just because it's 3.14. So that's close enough. And then the radius I'll make 1. And then the height I'll make 7. And that gives me a volume of 21. When I were to double our radius, that now means that this is going to be 2 squared. I half the height, which I'll just do that as 7 over 2. And then keep the pi. Pi is a constant, so that's the same. What is our new volume? Well, I can now rewrite this as 3 times 4 times 7, and I'm going to make that a little bit more neat. And because 7 is being divided by 2 and everything here is being multiplied by each other, I can actually divide everything here by 2. And this can be simplified now that I just look at 4 and 2. There's nothing being added here, so I can actually just work with these two real quick, make this 2, and then eliminate this by dividing both sides by 2. Then I do this calculation. Right off the bat, I can see, well, the only thing that's really changed from here to here is that it's gone up by 2. So that means that it's doubled. But we can also see that this becomes 42, and the closest answer is C, 44. Now, what I just touched on is really the key of what the SAT expects us to do. And that is recognize that if we rewrite this as volume equals pi, but that we are doubling the radius, so 2r squared, and then the height is being halved, which is h over 2, we can then simplify this by v equals pi times 4r squared, and then h over 2. And remember, we can just divide everything here by 2. And since everything here is being multiplied, again, we can just simplify that 4 and the 2. So this just becomes 2. And again, we're back to where we saw in the other problem, but it's a little bit more obvious for some, which is that it's just twice as big, right? It's like compared to your typical equation where it's just pi r squared times height. This is pi r squared times height with 2 being multiplied in. And since the original is 22, that must mean that the new value is 44.